Hey everybody, welcome back to Let's Play Katawa Shoujo Hanako's Beta Path Part 4. Now let's continue on with this beautiful brand new story. I stop in shock, nearly dropping the crumb-covered plate in my hands. South Africa? You mean like the one in Africa? That is around where South Africa is located, yes. Didn't you know? Sorry for not telling you earlier, Hisao. That's fine, I guess. In that case, though, what are you going to do over the break? I think that I shall take some time off to my family's summer house in Hokkaido. It's rather well equipped, yet remote enough to be quite tranquil. Sounds nice. What about you, Hanako? I'm not too sure. Maybe I'll go with Lilly. That sounds like a wonderful idea. You're also welcome to come along, Hisao. The more the merrier. To be invited to a remote summer home by two girls. What kind of madman would refuse an offer like that? Sure, I'll speak to my parents and let them know. It would be good if you could try. I definitely will. A brief flash of reality reminds me of more pressing issues. But shouldn't we be thinking about exams before we make too many plans? Due to my operation, I have received a bit of relief from the exams. However, I don't think that I shall need to make use of that. Lily's right. One look around her room is all it takes to notice that she's quite well read. Huh. Lucky you. How about you, Hanako? How do you think you'll do? There is a strange noise from Hanako as she coughs into her teacup. I guess my question caused her to inhale a little of the hot liquid. I haven't really thought about it. But I think... Hanako is cut off by Lily's strange utterance. By the time I look at her, she has put down her teacup and is grasping at her throat. Lily? What's the matter? Lily takes a moment to compose herself, slowly removing her hand from her throat. Oh, I'm sorry, Hisao. It would appear that my throat is still a little raw. I swallowed a little too much tea, and that seems to have aggravated it. Do you want me to call the nurse or something? No, I'm fine now. I just think I should take it easy. Are you sure? I'm positive. Still, you should get some rest. How about we call it a night? It's probably a good idea, Lily. You're right. Staying up late isn't exactly going to help me. Hanako stands up and we start clearing the small table. Lily rights herself and starts running her fingers along her bookshelf, gently feeling the bumpy spines. She stops on one and removes it from the shelf. Hanako stacks the crockery in its rightful position and heads for the door. Night, Lily. Good night, Lily. Get yourself some rest. I will. Thank you both again. Hanako walks out into the hall and I follow, closing the door behind me. Lily's door closes with a click, and I am left facing Hanako, who is avoiding my gaze. Hisao? What's up? Hanako nervously toys with her hair, twirling a few strands around her fingers. I just want to say that thank you for not telling Lily about last night. That's okay. If anything, I'm just as guilty as you. Hanako shakes her head, still fiddling with her hair. No, it was my fault. So, I want to thank you properly. Hanako lets her hair go and locks her gaze on mine. Close your eyes. Huh? Just do it, please. Reluctantly, I close my eyes. I hear Hanako take a deep breath and take a step towards me. I feel something warm against my face as Hanako pecks me on the cheek. Huh? I thought I should be more. So thank you. I'm glad that Hanako is filling in the silence, because I doubt I would be able to make any more sense. Just where the hell did this come from? I thought I should stop relying on you two. Relying on us? Isn't that what friends do? Yes, but... Don't sweat it. Lilly's a bit under the weather now, but I'm sure everything will be back to normal soon enough. Okay. You should probably get some rest, too. Okay. Hanako turns and heads for her room. Oh, and Hanako? Hanako freezes her hand on the door's handle. Thanks for that. Unexpectedly, Hanako tilts her head and smiles at me. You're welcome. Before I can react, she rushes into her room and closes the door behind her. I am alone in the hallway, my cheeks still tingling from Hanako's kiss. Anyone who could understand her would have to be some kind of genius. Walking like a zombie, mulling over the enigma that is Hanako, I return to my room. I stop at Kenji's door, considering asking him what he'd think about the situation. It's a conspiracy! Yeah, perhaps he isn't the best person to speak about this kind of thing. I get the feeling he'll somehow sour my mood. This is a rare opportunity to escape a tea party at a reasonable hour, and our talk of exams has got me jittering. Time to hit the books, I think. Hey, it's this! I missed this from the original Hanako's Path. And Emi's Path. Love this music. Huh? Awake before my alarm. How rare. Still, 5 minutes is nothing to get excited about, and there's no point in going back to sleep. A splash of water to the face and a quick change into my uniform, and I'm ready to go. A good half hour before I usually am. I think I shall use this rare opportunity to get a relaxed breakfast. As expected, even the smallest time difference has a large effect on the population of the cafeteria. The place is almost abandoned, meaning that I can secure myself a fairly large breakfast. Well, almost abandoned. Hey there, Lilly. Is that Hisao? Yeah, it's me. Good morning. Odd to see you so early. Yeah, I somehow managed to get up a bit earlier than usual. How's your throat? It feels much better after a night of rest. That's good to hear. I'd hate to see you out of action for much longer. It'd get depressing. Now, Hisao, you're making it sound like I had some terrible disease. Hanako doesn't seem immune from the habit either. The mention of Hanako reminds me of our strange encounter in the dorm last night. Say, Lilly, have you spoken to Hanako recently? Indeed I have. Could you be a little more specific? Well, have you noticed anything odd about her? Like, any changes? Nothing comes to mind. Tell me, did something happen? Well, yes, no... maybe? Eh? Sorry, I was just completing the pattern for you. Oh, right. Damn it, now I've lost my train of thought. I guess I just better spit it out then. Anyway, last night Hanako, she kissed me. My, what a development! Please, tell me all about it. Lilly seems far too happy about this. It's almost like she's watching a drama. How very un-Lilly-like. Even so, I can't stop the blood rushing to my face. Thankfully, no one else is here yet to see this. It was nothing, really. Just a peck on the cheek. But it was just so sudden, which is why I thought you might have said something to her, or something. Even if she can't see my face, my pathetic speech has probably given away my embarrassment anyway. Well, that certainly is unexpected. It seems that perhaps my stay in the hospital lent Hanako a measure of initiative. I guess, that's possible. Damn, I do not understand women at all. Well, moving on. Have you seen Hanako this morning? No, I haven't. I left before she woke up, I believe. Huh. I guess I'll see her around then. I don't think she'll have any excuse to not be in class. True. Anyway, this is getting cold. If you'll excuse me, I think I'll eat. Please, be my guest. Too late. My conversation with Lilly was just long enough for all the heat to escape from what looked to be a fantastic breakfast. And on top of that, the cafeteria has been slowly filling up, and by now all the good breakfast is probably gone. Something about this feels like a bad omen. I unenthusiastically shovel the cold food into my mouth whilst Lilly simply sits across the table, content to let me eat undisturbed. In an effort to offset the discomfort of the cold food, I shovel it down in large gulps. It doesn't help. Quite the opposite, actually. You must have been famished eating like that. Nah, I just wanted it over and done with. Are you headed to class now? Do you want a hand? My, that's quite gentlemanly of you, Hisao. What kind of woman would I be to refuse? I don't know. The answer is an uncourteous one. Right. Ruminating on my lack of answer to such an obvious question, I collect Lilly's plates and return them to the scullery window. By the time I return to the table, she's collected her bag and cane and stands ready for the brief walk to the main building. Well then, here is where we part, Hisao. Don't concern yourself too much with Hanako. Thanks to you, she's become much stronger. Thanking Lilly's inability to see my mild blushing, I quickly move to end the conversation. Sure thing. I'll see you after class. Lilly disappears into our classroom and I walk the short distance to my own class. Inside, only the studious students have arrived, making use of the piece of the room to bury their noses in their textbooks. Not even Shizune or Misha have arrived yet. What a rare occurrence. But there is one person here that surprises me. Hey there, Hanako. How are you this morning?
Hisao, good morning.
Hanako practically jumps at the sound of my voice, slightly more embarrassed than usual. Is everything alright?
What? Yeah, I'm all good. How's things with?
I'm fine. Are you sure you're good? Hanako is panicking like a rabbit caught in a cage, desperately looking around for something to distract me. I lean down close to her, whispering into her ear conspiratorially. Hey, look, if this is about last night, don't worry about it. I kinda enjoyed it. Hanako's frenzied head movements stop, her face going a full shade redder. Only now do I notice that on the other side of Hanako, leaning in as close as I am, is another face.
I guess you enjoyed it too, hey?
I jump back suddenly, nearly tripping over the desk behind me. Misha! When did you get here? Misha stands up, leaving Hanako frozen in a state of shock.
I was here to hear the good part, and that's all that matters, right? Oh, Hisao and Hanako. Doing naughty things at night. I can't wait to tell Shizune.
No, wait, you can't do... Too late. Behind me, I can hear the sound of a bag being placed rather forcibly onto a desk, followed by angry footsteps. Oh god, the end of our life is near.
Shizune wants you to know that, fraternization isn't allowed in the public areas of the school. She also thinks that it's a bad idea for high school students to be wasting time on personal matters when exams are so close. Also, she thinks that if you want to pass notes, you should use a more direct delivery system.
Wait, what the hell are you talking about? You've got it all wrong. Nothing's going on between us. Wait, notes? Misha quickly signs something to Shizune, who then produces a small note. On the front, in writing so faint it's almost illegible, is written to Hisao.
You left this lying on your desk where anyone could see it. I don't care what you do in your own time, but keep it out of the classroom. Understood?
At times I wonder if Shizune sees Misha as a friend, or if she simply possesses her just to use her mouth. I snatched a note out of Shizune's hand, noting that Hanako winces a little as I grab it. Fine, understood. Man, you two really know how to misinterpret the situation. There's nothing naughty going on at all.
Sure there isn't. Anyway, it looks like you have something to deal with, so we'll leave you alone for the moment. Right, Shizune?
I breathe a little relief as Misha drags Shizune back towards their desk, leaving me with a visibly shaken Hanako. She looks a little too stressed to talk, so I guess I'll read the note first.
Don't read that!
The background murmur of the class drops into silence as everyone tries to discreetly eavesdrop on this sudden outburst. Okay. Should I give it back?
No.
Right. So I shouldn't read it then?
No, just don't read it now.
The school bells peal throughout the classroom and I am forced to return to my seat. It's not long before the class is underway, and whilst Shizune and Misha are distracted by taking notes, I unfold the tiny letter.
Dear Hisao, I have something I want to tell you. Please meet me behind the dorms after school.
Huh. Unsigned. Then again, it's not like it's hard to work out where it came from. Making sure the teacher is facing the board, I turn around to face Hanako. It doesn't take long to get her attention. It's almost as if she's been watching my back all morning. I hold up the note, point to it, and give her a quick thumbs up. She looks away, pretending not to notice me. But a moment later, she quickly looks back at me for an instant, returning my thumbs up before once again pretending not to look at me. Nakai, eyes front. Sorry. Sorry won't cut it. I want you to read from the textbook, starting at page 54. Huh. I guess this is what my cold breakfast was trying to warn me about. My moment as the star of the class passes quickly, much to my relief. That's enough. Now let me continue. Word after word issues forth from the teacher's mouth, but I find it hard to follow along. Halfway through the class, I look at my notes only to find that they are covered with a mess of doodles. Even here, where my mind has taken some kind of form, there is no order, just a random mess of squiggles. Thankfully, the lunch bells relieve me of this affliction. I turn ready to talk to Hanako, only to see her disappear through the classroom's rear door. Looks like she's not ready to talk to me yet. On the other hand, this does give me a bit of time to clear my mind. I need to talk to someone, and I can think of only one person up to the task. Lilly, have you got a moment?
But of course, what's the matter, Hisao?
Thankfully, Lilly is the only person in the tea room today. I don't know what I would do if Hanako was here too. It's about Hanako.
Oh? Has something gone wrong?
Not exactly. She gave me what looks like a letter.
A letter? What type of letter?
I fidget nervously. It's fairly obvious what Hanako intends to talk to me about, but even so, the anticipation inside me is palpable. Well, she's asking me to meet her after school.
In a letter? Why didn't she just ask you to your face?
That's what I was hoping to ask you. You know how this morning I was asking you about Hanako?
Of course.
Well, I think that maybe... I don't know.
That perhaps she likes you?
Emotions run through me like a lightning bolt. It's not like this is really news to me, but still. Hearing someone say it out loud excites me a little. Yeah, something like that. Not knowing what to do, I sit down next to Lilly.
Well, is that a problem, really?
I don't know. I haven't really thought about it. Itching to be doing something, my hand reached into my pocket and retrieves Hanako's note. After simply holding it for a second, I feel another, different set of emotions. You know, this isn't the first time I've received a letter like this.
Oh, really? You must be handsome then, Hisao.
That's not exactly what I meant. Panic grips tentatively at the edges of my mind, and before I know it, it was at my last school. I'm telling Lilly about the last time I got such a letter. I got a letter like this with just a place and a time, and it turns out it was a girl that I liked. But that was when I had my heart attack. The doctors heard about that and blamed it on the stress.
I see. It would be troublesome if such a thing happened again. However, this time you at least know who the letter is from, correct?
Well, unless I'm grossly mistaken, then yes.
So that should at least relieve you of some of the surprise, correct?
I suppose.
The other part, however, may require some extra work.
Other part?
Well, do you actually like Hanako?
Lilly poses this question just as easily as she would ask me the time. I just wish I could answer as easily. Well, I like her, but I like you too, I guess. Lilly sighs slightly.
Let's try this a different way. What do you plan to do when you leave school?
Go to university, I guess? But what does that have to do with anything? Lilly ignores my question and continues with her interrogation.
What do you intend on studying?
Science, I guess. But...
And why is that?
Lilly just plows along. I guess I'll just have to run with it for now. Not really sure, it's just something that I enjoy, I guess.
Well, there you have it.
What?
You are planning the rest of your life based on a whim. So, what is the sense in putting so much thought into something as trivial as a high school romance?
I try to find a way to refute Lilly, but end up totally lost for words. What she's saying makes perfect sense, even if it seems overly clinical.
I take it that this seems a little, well, direct for you, yes?
I guess.
Well, just answer me one question. Would you have any objections to Hanako?
No, I really like her. Why would I have any objections?
Then I think you have just answered your own doubts. Unless, of course, you have someone else in mind?
No, not really.
Then I recommend that you accept Hanako's offer. I think that it would help both of you. It should help you get over the anguish of your heart attack, and it also shows that Hanako's almost out of her shell.
But I'm still not sure. Lilly turns to me and, after a bit of fumbling, rests her hand on my shoulder.
Do you need to be sure? I would think that it would be slightly exhilarating, throwing yourself headlong into a relationship at this age. And if things don't work out, then you could always just go back to being friends. I'll always support both of you.
Thanks, Lilly.
You're welcome, Hisao. However, if I am correct, we are almost out of time. We should leave here before the bells start. It'd be best to avoid the crowd.
Agreed. Here, I'll help you up. I quickly jump to my feet and gently grasp Lilly's hands, helping her to her feet. It seems that Lilly's sense of time is correct. As soon as I close the door to the tea room, the bells clamor into life. For the second time today, Lilly and I part ways in the hallway. Lilly gives me a short wave before leaving, and without thinking, I wave back. Chiding myself for doing something so stupid, I simply call out after her. See you, Lilly, and thanks again. The classroom is in a typical state of disarray as I walk in. All of the students are trying to jam in as much as they can into the brief interval before class. It's like they were slacking off during the break and are trying to make up for lost time before the teacher appears. I guess it doesn't matter if it's conversations or assignments. Students are bound to leave everything until the last possible moment. One character in this never-ending drama, however, is missing. The rearmost window seat is currently lacking one, Hanako. I guess she's avoiding me out of embarrassment, or something. I keep my eyes on the doors awaiting her return. Just as the teacher slides open the front door to the class, Hanako bolts to her chair from the rear door. She was probably waiting in the hallway until the last possible moment. Not wanting to suffer the same fate as I did this morning, I keep my eyes glued firmly to the front of the class, taking notes where appropriate. Lilly's pep talk has made me surprisingly focused, not only on my impending meeting with Hanako, but also with the class. As a result, I am genuinely surprised when the bells sound for the end of the class. With speed rivaling a gazelle, Hanako's out of the back door before I can even turn around. Nervous energy, I suppose. Well, here goes nothing, I guess. The area behind the dorms is shady and peaceful. Behind me, I can hear the muffled sounds of students going about their daily lives. Cheers from various sporting clubs, the sounds of cooking and washing from the dorms. But everything seems somewhat distant. It's like some kind of barrier is preventing the outside world seeping into this forgotten plot of land between the dorm buildings and the school's wall. Of course, there is another person here, and it only takes a moment's walk before I reach the hunched figure leaning against the stone wall. So, I guess it really was your note.
Yes. I guess you know that, right?
I had a hunch. A bird's song drifts over the school's wall, giving Hanako a chance to pause before answering.
Hisao?
Yes?
What do you think about me?
I guess it's not that easy to be direct, but even for Hanako, this seems a little roundabout. Well, I like you. You're a good friend.
Is that all?
I have a feeling that this is not going all that well. What do you think about me, Hanako?
Me? Do think about you.
Take your time. We've got all day. Hanako takes a deep breath.
I like you too, Hisao.
That's good to know. So, what did you want to talk to me about? Hanako looks around, presumably to make sure no one is watching.
You know how I told you that I had a friend before?
I strain my memory for a second, but then remember Hanako's words when we slept in Lily's room. Oh, your friend from before? Hanako simply nods in response.
He said I was a good friend too. When I asked him like this. But then I ran away. I ran away and he chased me. And then...
Hanako, unable to continue, starts to stagger away from the wall. Instinctively, I rush forward and catch her, holding her close to my chest.
Promise me you won't die too.
I promise you. Hanako takes great heaving sobs into my chest before looking up at me with her reddened face.
Hisao, I love you.
Lily's advice rushes through my brain at 1,000,000 miles an hour, as does all the time I've spent with Hanako up to this moment. But before I can make a rational decision, I find my head bending down and my grip on Hanako's slight frame tightening. The salt from her tears mixes with the latent taste of lip balm as we kiss. I feel a pressure on my back and realize that Hanako has wrapped her arms around me, pulling me into this ever-deepening embrace. After what feels like an eternity, we separate our lips looking directly into each other's eyes. And on that note, folks, we're going to leave you hanging for the next part. Hanako kissed us! Anyways, folks, stay tuned for Let's Play Hanako's Beta Path Part 5, when we'll continue the conversation with Hanako, and I think we might have just made that leap from friend to boyfriend, possibly. Anyways, see you then, peoples.